you're in the middle of explaining something that matters. You finally get a sentence out, and right as you're about to finish it, they start talking over the end of your sentence. And for a moment, you lose your train of thought. You pause, trying to find your place again, but the conversation keeps moving. You may recognize the moment when the conversation starts to shift away from what you brought up, and you may notice yourself trying to bring it back to the original point. Over time, this can start to feel mentally tiring, and it can leave you wondering why things never feel fully resolved. What often happens here is very subtle. You begin to explain something important, something you've been trying to say clearly. But before your thought is complete, the conversation gets interrupted. And now, instead of finishing what you were saying, you're responding to what they just said instead. For them, this can become useful, because what this often does is change the direction of the conversation. The focus begins to move from what you were trying to express to what they just said. And once that shift happens, the interaction starts to center around what they just said instead. And now you're responding to them instead of finishing your own thought. So instead of your full point being heard, the conversation moves toward their response. And over time, this can make it harder for your original point to fully stay in the conversation. It can also create a feeling where you are speaking, but not fully able to finish what you're trying to say. Some people who study relational patterns describe this as a narcissistic communication pattern when it happens repeatedly. If this happens once, it may be misunderstanding, but when it repeats, a pattern can form. In healthy conversations, both people stay with the original concern long enough to understand it, even if it takes a moment to pause and listen. Many people respond by trying harder when the conversation doesn't feel clear. They wait for a gap. They try to speak more carefully. They try again to explain. But when interruptions keep happening, it becomes harder to stay with what you are trying to say. Recognizing this can bring clarity because it helps explain why things haven't been resolving, and it can help you see that the issue isn't always how you're expressing yourself, but how the conversation keeps shifting away from your voice. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when conversations unfold this way, another pattern often begins to form. In the next video, we're going to explain why they say you're too sensitive during arguments and how that pattern keeps the conversation from resolving. Click here to watch.